Yeah, Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett were like watching MTV. They were like roommates. They were watching MTV, and they were like everything's so like manufactured that they just manufactured an entire band.
Oh wow, that is so cool.
So yeah.
Look at that, I learned something
All right,
today.
we're just gonna go camera off. It's fine. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It's fine.
It's fine.
Don't worry.
You'll be able to see my beautiful. Oh look, I even wore my Ren and Stimpy T-shirt just for you. So,
Thank you.
I don't know what that has to do with you, but I could say.
I had Ren and Stimpy influences from having like older siblings. My brother liked the show, so he's 6 years older, and we had a Ren and Stimpy game on our Game Gear. And I think it was pretty good.
Talking Game Gear, you're trying to get into. You're trying to get into good spirits, huh? Talking about Game Gear.
That was actually my first handheld. Was the Game Gear? Yeah, because I was just kind of like born into it, and we had two of them.
Nice. That was my first console, like my first game.
Oh,
console.
sick.
Yeah.
I could actually probably remember most of our games because like that was my first experience with Mortal Kombat too on the Game Gear, and to me it was a good game. Like I didn't know how to do any of the fatalities. Sometimes they got used on me, but Mortal Kombat, Aladdin, Ren and Stimpy, like I just said, and I think a Little Mermaid game, and probably a couple others.
Yeah.
Disney.
I think I had like a bunch of Sonic. So I had like Sonic Drift 2, Sonic 2, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, like those versions. And Lemmings. I had Lemmings.
Oh, sick.
And I'm trying to think of Outrun Europa, which is an Outrun game. But that's so funny because like I think back on like you said like talking about Mortal Kombat on the Game Gear. I had Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, which is not good. But you know what? As a kid, it's like I got Mortal Kombat on the go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's.
I think James Rolfe did an episode of the different Mortal Kombats, and that Game Boy one was stripped down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
It's not good. Everyone like their portraits. They all look like burn victims.
Oh my god. Sonic was good at least though, right? They can't really ruin Sonic making it portable.
No, Sonic's
Game
great.
Gear.
The first Sonic's great on Game Gear. So.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. So, are you ready to start?
Yeah, man.
All right. I've been recording this entire time. We've been trapped.
That's okay. I'm used to it now.
What's up, geeks and gamers? Welcome back to the Community Interviewnity. This is the 7th one. I haven't done one since like April, so it's been a minute. Today we have a very special guest. It is the Legend of Leo. What's up, man?
Hey, thank you for having me. Not much going on right now. Happy to be here though.
People at home, you can't see me because that's my internet's being slow, so I'm just turning off my camera. Sorry, it happens. Get used to it. It's fine.
I'm used to talking to myself too, so that's okay.
You're just looking at like a mirror. Now you can be super self-conscious, like you're just like constantly looking at your hair, like, do I need to fix my hair?
That's why I liked having the blur around me too. It cuts off all the bad parts.
So, for those of you who don't know, the Community Interviewnity is a series where I take a person from the community and I interview them. It's in the name. It's a terrible name, but I love it. And today we're going to ask Legend of Leo. I got 7 questions here. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. They're kind of all generally the same, though. And I'm going to ask you these 7 questions, and you can just lay it on me. And if we get done early enough, we can just ramble about whatever.
Sounds good.
Cool. First question is, how did you first get into content creation?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. If I go back to the very beginning, I think my introduction and my earliest days of content creation, the reason's not too much different right now. Really, I love gaming, but it got harder and harder to justify gaming as I got older. Different obligations that everyone's accustomed to. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But gaming was just like this constant thing where, yeah, I really like it, but what, am I going to keep on gaming? I don't know. To me, I've always just had my own personal stigma. It doesn't matter if gaming's becoming more widely accepted. I've always just kind of wanted to be as productive as possible with whatever I do. And books were piling up. Like it compared to other things, it felt like gaming was taking up too much of my time, and I wasn't doing anything with it other than just knocking a bunch of games off my backlog. So getting into content creation was actually a really good way to be productive with a hobby that I didn't want to get rid of. I didn't want to drop gaming. In fact, I actually wanted to do it more, just because of all the games that I haven't played yet. And so by doing this, I was able to appease myself. My family even liked the sound of it. My friends were encouraging me to do it. And it was really just a question of what direction do I want to take it? And at the time, I had been getting back into gaming content on YouTube, because prior to that, it was just everything but, unless I needed a guide or something like that. So I was getting back into gaming content on YouTube, just casual stuff, some top 10s, JRPG channels, anything like that, the really light stuff, not gameplay. And I thought that certain people did really well in presenting their content and talking to the camera, and I thought that's the kind of style I like, just earnestly talking to the audience, no putting on airs, no excessive editing for people with ADD or people who pretend that they have ADD or anything like that, just really straightforward talking to the camera for the most part. And then the question was, what kind of content did I want to do? And I always like to do something a little bit different. I like to distinguish myself. So at the beginning, I actually thought, let me grow the channel, because the most interesting thing for me would be to connect with other major content creators. But I can't just be somebody with 10 subscribers reaching out to 300,000 subscribers or 70,000 subscribers and say, hey, this is me and I would like to interview you. So I had to start from somewhere. And the earliest videos were, let me try a Pokemon Sword review. Let me try talking about my Nintendo consoles, and just seeing what did well in with the audience. And at some point, I think I kind of found my niche without actually being big enough for interviews. And honestly, I don't think I do a very good job with the interviews, at least not yet. The ones that I did do were also experimental. But I feel like I've kind of established myself now with the Food for Thought playlist, where I just take these gaming topics that are external to the games. So if I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy, for example, I'm not necessarily going to focus on the Final Fantasy games themselves, but I'm going to focus on things like trends at the time. Or are there certain things that Final Fantasy does in common with other JRPGs, but maybe Final Fantasy does it better? So they could be little examinations or analyses, or even abstract ideas. Like some of my most fun videos or most fun ideas were the odd gaming habits, where I was just, I'm thinking about all the things that I do, all the quirks that I have when I play games. And I thought, why don't I just put this all into a video and ask people if they have the same kind of, little necessities or little checklists and mental things when they play games. So yeah, the Food for Thought playlist. And again, to always be growing. There's some of the more common stuff. People really like seeing your top 10 or your top 50 or your top 20, whatever it is. So I've got those videos as well. And then if I happen to get really invested in a game, like I did with Tears of the Kingdom, then that becomes the focus and that becomes the main project on the channel. So Tears of the Kingdom, not to milk the game, because I could have kept on going with it, but just to get it all out of my system, to share everything that I wanted to share. So that kind of goes back to the beginning, where gaming's this hobby that I didn't want to get rid of. And what are the most fun things about gaming? Being able to talk about it, being able to share it. And also that reminds me, I think one of the reasons why I didn't know if I wanted to move on from gaming or not prior to making the channel, I was basically on an island when it came to playing the games and sharing them. My friends were busy with other aspects of their lives, or they had moved on from gaming, or I just dropped it down to something really casual, just a few multiplayer games, and maybe we'd pick something up once a month, if that. So I had nobody to discuss them with, and that's been one of the best parts also of having a channel, is people kind of learn my tastes. And so if we get into something in the comment section, they know where I'm coming from. I watch some of your videos and other people's videos, and so I know where you're coming from, and it makes the engagement in the comments section a little more worthwhile as well. So that is a pretty comprehensive answer to why I got into it and what it is to me currently as well.
That's a good answer. You know, sometimes I ask people on this show. I'm not saying names, but I ask people on the show like, "How'd you get in contact?" You're like, I don't know. One day I got a camera, and it's like...
You know what? Not to brown nose him or anything like that, but I really liked your first interview with Spencer, and I liked the way that he answered things and how it was learning more about him and his story, and it was pretty interesting as well. And you asked good questions in the interview, so I thought, okay, if I'm going to be doing this, I think I may as well just go all out with what I enjoyed listening to.
Oh
So
yeah,
there you
well
go.
that's the whole point of the series, right? It's not about me; it's about the community. You know, and like
Perfect.
I've like I think I came across you for the first time through your what I forget. You can correct me, but the first interaction I think we had was through one of the button mapper video responses.
Yeah, those have been fun too.
It was either the RPG or the violence one. I don't remember which one you did first, or if you did both of them. I know you did the RPG one.
I did both of them. I
Okay.
did both, yeah.
And of course, then I was like, oh, a new person in the community, okay, you know. And then now, you know, now you've come on to like a couple button mapper podcasts and stuff, you know, and we're like conversing more. And I've checked out your content, and like, I'm really impressed by your content. And I'm bad at just talking off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
it's just it feels really well thought out, and it's very listenable. Like the other night I was listening to the long ass Pokemon one you did.
Yeah.
And that is like the perfect kind of video to like have on while I play something else, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that, man.
And
That's a
like,
funny compliment, but I know it's a compliment.
no,
So
a lot of
thank you.
people are like looking for that too, you know. Like I like those kind of videos. It's like I'm gonna put on this thing while I listen, you know, while I play something else, and it's like relaxing, you know.
It's a bit of a blessing and it's a bit of a curse. Like even if I may never release anything that is truly perfect, I think I am a perfectionist, or at least I obsess over a lot of the details. And I typically will be thinking of ideas for a long time. I've got my notebook right here, and I've been jotting down ideas for the last couple of years. Most of them have been turned into videos at this point. And I'm the kind of person who, when I'm doing a take, whether it's scripted or unscripted, whatever, if I don't like how it sounded or if I feel like I missed a major point, I'm gonna redo it. I'm like that. Like I am neurotic about certain things, so it's more time for me. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it for customer satisfaction. So that part mirrors my real life. Actually, it's all about customer satisfaction.
I commend you, man, because I am the complete opposite. I don't script anything, so it's like I'm like, oh man, I got like a shot of my toe in there, whatever, it's fine, who cares?
Yeah, the irony is, sometimes the unscripted videos flow a lot better because you don't get hyped up, you don't get ahead of yourself. And like I'm trying to memorize some of my scripted lines if that's going to be the video. I think the last one I did like that was with the innovation versus replication video. And so there were chunks when I was talking to the camera and it seemed like it was free flowing, but I had actually memorized at least parts that I wanted to say. That took so much longer and it was so much more difficult than it needed to be than just talking to the camera about what I like, talking to the camera about this or that. And you know what? Sometimes like when you just talk to the camera and you have that I don't want to use this cliched phrase, but the flow of consciousness. Sometimes when that's happening, it does create a pretty good video. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with scripted or unscripted. It's just whatever works for you. And yeah,
Oh yeah. Like you you know, you clearly lean into the scripted category. I come from a
I
place
actually
of
don't.
well,
I
okay.
think the number of videos on my channel that are scripted are probably this many. So
Okay.
I try not to, but if it seems that way, then at least I'm doing something right. So thank you.
I mean, I'm the complete opposite. So if you're the other way, me too, man. Because I come from a place of improv, so it's like
Oh,
I work better without a script. If I get a script, I'm like I'm gonna stumble, I'm gonna forget, it's not good. So
you actually mean legit improv though? Did you do any
yeah.
drama
I
or
mean, okay,
acting?
so like I know you and I are pretty new to like communicating, but I don't know if you
Getting
know
to know
this,
each other.
but
Yeah.
I do have a film channel where we do short films. It's a Frickin' Frack
I did
Films.
not know that.
Yes, and
Oh, cool.
all of it me and my best friend Damon, who is an actual actor, by the way. That's his job. We do improv. Like, all of our stuff's improv, and that's sort of like how I've been like the last 10 years. You know, been doing that stuff. So that's what I'm comfortable with. But it's beautiful. I do have before we move on to the second question, I do have a 1.5. Since you didn't address it, I have to ask. We're all wondering, everyone at home, who's the damn dog? What's up with the dog?
Oh, you know what? Everyone's got to have something to their channel, right? And so, since like a theme, it'd be typically a theme, right? You just want a little bit of cohesion between all of your different assets, whether it's your channel name, your picture, maybe something recurring in the videos. Like, I'm not an angry video game nerd, so that's not what I'm going to be threading into every video. I don't have the editing style or the time to do those big productions like a Scott the Woz. And so, also part of my getting back into gaming was actually when I got my dog a couple of years ago. And I'm just like with this puppy. I'm like, oh man, puppy's napping right now. Need something to do. And I got back into the Nintendo DS. And that was when I actually started gaming for much more per week than I had been prior. Anyways, this is just a really long way of saying the dog is my theme. He was new in my life at the time. I thought, and then it was just a matter of, can I keep on linking it back to the games or the different categories on my channel? So The Legend of Zelda, The Legend of Leo. When I do my little reviews that are in the short format, a bite-size review, just because dogs bite. Food for thought, just because dogs eat food. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you. It's been fun actually doing the thumbnails, because otherwise, like, I don't know what I would actually do for the thumbnails if I didn't have my dog for the theme. So people have probably noticed I Photoshop him into every single thumbnail, and some of them are really good. Like the What's Retro? It's just a little 5-minute video, but I had a picture of the old school Donkey Kong, and so I just had a photo of my dog where he was stretching. And I photoshopped him onto one of the barrels that are flying, and it looked perfect. So it's amusing for me too.
Yeah, your last one with "Let's Go Leo," that cracked me up.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. See, and as long as people just like they look at it and it just makes them smile, that's good enough. Just enjoy it for a split second. I'm happy.
Okay. Question 2. Obviously, you don't exist in a bubble. You didn't just pop, into existence and start doing your channel. So I want to know who or what inspired your content.
Do you want me to mention other channels?
Whatever you want, man. That doesn't matter. It could be a channel.
Sure.
It could be a person. It could be a book. I don't care. Whoever.
Okay. So as far as the gaming channels go, I think one of my favorites or at least at the time, my favorites to listen to was Happy Console Gamer. And there's a little bit of Canadian bias there, but I also just like his honest self talking to the camera, and people can debate that all they want, but the way I interpret him and his character is he's being genuine and authentic, so I like it. And pretty similar gaming tastes there. I've got a couple of JRPG channels. I've got something like That Video Games Show, where it's highlighting a lot of hidden gems and just how do they keep on coming up with more top 10s. I don't know how they're not out of different video ideas yet. So just kind of a combination of all the things that I was watching and picking the best presenters and my favorite styles. Not necessarily the best styles, because that is something fairly subjective, but picking my favorites and trying to work with it. So the channels that I mentioned as far as gaming goes, and then outside of gaming, there's the odd podcast that I tune into, and that doesn't really need to be gone in depth with, because that was what I wanted to emulate for my Leo talk. My own interviews, which haven't really gone anywhere yet. So that's that, I think.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, inspirations are important. I'm waiting for the day that somebody like comments on a video and is like, wait a second,
because of you,
you're just that or like I'm like terrified. I'm gonna be like, here's my review of Frogger 2, and they're gonna be like, wait a second, you're just classic game room, and I'll be like, fuck.
Oh.
I've been found out.
Yeah, I've never cared to emulate anybody, because even if I like just mentioned the channels that I liked and I was inspired by, I mean, again, I don't think anyone's ever done anything perfectly. So anytime I try to do it, I put my improvements on it, I hope. And I've had some friends be really critical of what I do as well. So one of them was really laying into me in my first few videos, just saying you talk too slowly. And I go, geez, it's tough, man, because you're trying to think of the next thing that you want to say so
Hmm.
that you don't have any downtime. He's just, I don't care. You talk too slowly. So I've got people critiquing me, and I'm trying to improve every time I can as well. So hopefully, all of those little improvements have also made me less of a copycat. If I started out as one, I don't think so.
Yeah, I try not to be one either, but it's just like I know I have those like inspirations that I'm just like I know find their way into my stuff. That it's like
I don't think you
it's
are.
it's got
And
that
I've
like
watched some of your skits, and even your skits are just like it's your own brand of humor too.
it's
Even other people have similar humor, but like it's all your subject matter, which I've never heard anywhere else before. So
it could just be like imposter syndrome, but I'm just everybody else. um,
you're good, man. You're good.
cool, cool. So the next question, actually, the next few questions are gonna be pretty light. This one is pretty easy. I'm gonna ask you, and you can take a second. You can think. I know this is a hard question, but I want to know your top 5 games of all time, off the top of your head.
Sure. Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry, but it is. Majora's Mask, Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. And this is where I can just kind of mix a few things in. Uh, doesn't really matter to me what's 4, 5, 6, or 7. And so for now, I will say 4 and 5 are Gladius at 4, which I played on the Nintendo GameCube. It's multi-platform. And 5, I'll give it to Tales of Symphonia for now.
Okay, good picks. I've only played a couple of them, but good picks.
Have you heard of Gladius?
No, that's the one I haven't heard of. That's the only one.
Yeah. And
um,
like, I also don't want that to be my thing, my shtick,
you're
but it really is a good game. And it's just like gladiators, infused with mythological characters. What's the strategy of the game called? Like a my God, strategy tactics. Oh, I'm blanking completely. But you play on a grid and you move your
like a
characters around per
tactical
turn.
game, like a tactical RPG or something.
Yeah. Tactical, but on a grid.
Okay.
I'm blanking right now, man. But yeah, it's really fun. And the nice thing is you can actually play it on emulator and you can fast forward through the loading scenes. I love how that doesn't break games on emulator. And that is really the only downside, the only flaw, or some of the loading times. So just go, boop.
Nice. I need to
Yeah.
check. I need to check
Play
that out.
Gladius.
That is so like you're talking about. Like I don't want to be that guy. That is so easy to do. Is to become like the blank guy. Like
Yeah.
I was terrified of that because I did like a review of one of those Sinron Kagura games and I got like thousands of
Oh, yeah.
views and I was like, am I the Sinron Kagura guy now? Oh no.
What a game to be known for, too. I don't think you want that.
So I was like, shift. I don't know. I like other stuff, but yeah, it's easy to get caught up with that. It's just like here's my
And I
weird
think
game.
as long as people don't lay into it too much, I think it is kind of interesting. Like there's the Shadow Hearts person, there's the whatever person for just slightly more obscure games. It's just like, well, can just let me know that you actually mean it when you tell me you like the game, and if it comes off as sincere, then I'm okay with it.
The other ones I have at least knowledge of. I've played Majora's Mask, obviously. I've played Paper Mario, and I've never finished, but I've played a good bit of Tales of Symphonia. Have not played Tears of the Kingdom yet.
Yeah, don't worry about tears. Once you get into it, it's so hard to stop. But Tales of Symphonia is maybe one of those games that because I played it as an impressionable teenager, everything struck a chord with me. And if I were to go back through the Tales series now and Symphonia for the first time was being played, right now, I don't know. But I played it as a teenager, 13, 14 years old, and everything was just a clear winner for me. The characters, the length of the game, replaying the game. I had a buddy playing it alongside me as well, his own copy and co-op with me. And there are things in Symphonia that I haven't seen in a lot of other Tales games either. So it's a good one.
Without laying out any spoilers for me because I've been avoiding them. But do you think Tears of the Kingdom is a worthy successor to Breath of the Wild? Like, is it, or does it just feel like the game again? Because that's my worry with it.
feels okay, for me it feels completely different. And here's the thing, if somebody's only going to spend maybe like 10 hours with each game, then it will feel more like a direct successor, the same engine and yada yada. But I played so much of the first game, let's just say 250 hours, and then 250 hours again, Tears of the Kingdom. And one really interesting thing that they do, and I explained this in one of my reviews for the game, where Breath of the Wild felt like you're getting used to the climbing, you're getting used to going everywhere over mountains and then paragliding off of them. So picture a lot of vertical exploration in Breath of the Wild. That's just one aspect of the game, but we'll use that for the example for now. And then in Tears of the Kingdom, because they change your abilities and you have Ascend, which lets you go through structures and lets you emerge on the rooftops, your vertical traversal, your vertical travel is basically rendered trivial by this ability. So that is actually not the main way of playing the game. And I think Nintendo realized this, so they hollowed out a ton of the mountains in the game. So you're actually going into the mountains. You don't just have these simple snap your fingers and boom, I can get to the top of it now. It's more like cave exploration, underground exploration, and things like that. And you don't have as many walls to scale. So less of a climbing game and more of, to me, it felt more like, Ocarina of Time, honestly. I mean, it's like it played more like Breath of the Wild, but the feelings I had every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes of seeing something new, it was like, oh, Ocarina of Time. Oh my God, Ocarina of Time.
I want to play it. I'm not made of money, and the game looked very daunting. And also, a month later, Pikmin 4 was coming out, so I was like, that's my Tears of the Kingdom right there. It's a dumb Pikmin.
Yeah,
dog.
and it figures that that's the one where they went $10 more expensive too. It's like,
Oh yeah,
that was one
yeah.
of the things actually keeping me on the fence. It's like, do I want to agree with that? Do I want to enable that price hike right now?
It seems like that's the only one they've done it with too, right? Like I don't think Pikmin was
Oh, really?
70. I don't remember. I'm not keeping track
Oh,
though. Honestly, I haven't bought Mario Wonder. I'm probably gonna buy WarioWare, but that's like they're $40, so it doesn't count.
good.
Who's paying 70 for WarioWare? Come on.
Yeah. All Nintendo, if they could, they would charge it. So thank God it's only 40.
All right. So, question number 4. This one is a special one that I'm introducing for your interview today. It is, what is the worst game you've ever played? And I don't want meme answers. Everybody can say, Big Mother Truckers or whatever. Like I want to know the actual worst game you've ever sat down and played.
I have it.
Okay.
I have it. There's been no game worse than this. IE.Y.E. For whatever reason, it's an acronym. Divine Cybermancy. So, this is one where it's like, why are you ripping into that game? Like, it's just a small little team. The developers got such a cool idea. You don't need to be mean to it. And let me explain what's going on in Divine Cybermancy. It's basically a fever dream. That's how it feels when you're playing it. Because it's an FPS with like an old school, almost like System Shock or Deus Ex type of feeling to it. It's just like, whoa, the world is kind of dystopian, definitely futuristic, but not necessarily cyberpunk aesthetic. Just basically really dark and grim, almost like a lot of noir elements too. Although I'm going to hype it up by describing it that way, because it's not like you have a lot of noir story elements either. It's just kind of the feeling of the aesthetic in the first couple of levels. And you don't really know what you're going to get. It also feels a little bit alien, kind of Half-Life-y. A lot of good ideas. The guns, like you basically have your loadout every time you play the game, and you can select your assault rifle or your shotgun or your sniper rifle or swords. There's a level up system with experience where you could put it into more damage, more agility. You can jump higher. Think of a lot of like Morrowind, where you improve your acrobatics and all of a sudden your character's like this, right? So it's got like a Morrowind RPG system for your stats. It's got a loadout thing for your first-person shooter parts. And it's got all of these crazy dystopian, futuristic, almost alien environments and scenery. But it doesn't come together nicely. The gameplay is so janky. The level up system, a lot of the skills just feel useless to invest points in. And one thing that you probably don't realize really early on, when it kind of sounds like I'm going on so long about this, I realize it's like I'm giving the game an endorsement. But here's the thing, you could try the game for yourself. I don't mind people playing the game. It's just the worst game that I've ever played. It started like it was going to have a lot of highs, and then you get into a few levels where if you're not progressing with the objectives correctly, it just does infinite enemy spawning. And you don't even realize for the beginning that that's not part of the game. Like, you don't know that you're in an infinite enemy spawner.
Oh
So
no.
I've had many sessions in the game where it was just like, what am I doing here? And then you use a guide and you play the games, and the levels are horrific. And another thing that kind of adds to like the weirdness of it is some of the menuing is like that old source menu. You know, like when you press escape on Half-Life or Counter-Strike, it has the old gray source box for the options.
Mhm. Okay.
People with like some old PC gaming will kind of know what I'm talking about. And it's got like I think it had like that kind of thing going on with it too. Just a mess of a game, but I don't want to just trash it only because if there's something there that sounds good to people, I do encourage them to go check it out. So yeah, I never just want to trash a game unless it's Undertale. So there you go.
Do you okay? This is just a question I'm curious about here now. Do you enjoy like trying bad games or playing bad games, or is it just like a no?
No, I don't. But the problem is, I am usually a completionist, and if I've
Mm,
started a game, I don't like to just uninstall it. I want to just see it through to the end. Somehow, can I please see it through to the end? And this year, there have been a couple of games where I wish I didn't have to do that, but I did.
oh
Yeah.
no. I like playing bad games. I mean, I'll never finish most of them, but like sometimes they're just more interesting to me than like a perfect game. Yeah, I'm just like trying like I remember
Yeah.
recently I was playing what's that Xbox 360 game? Too Human. I was playing Too Human
Oh yeah.
because like I'm like how did Silicon Knights make make what was the GameCube game the horror game? Oh my gosh, it's slipping my
Oh, Eternal Darkness.
yeah, how did they make Eternal Darkness
Uh.
and then make this game on the Xbox 360? How did that happen? And I'm like, you know,
Oh, I like Eternal Darkness, so maybe I'll never play Too Human.
yeah, don't. It's not good. It's just like, what happened here?
Yeah. No, you're right. Like the bad games can just be so imaginative, and that's what this game is. So I divine cybermancy EYE. If you guys want to check out something, like I said, it does feel like a fever dream.
It's
Um, and it's like you could tell it's like this Russian programmer, or Russian writer, or whatever, and everything's just been translated.
no.
It's a little wacky in that aspect as well. But yeah.
Just saying the name sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Next question, and we've been talking about video games because obviously we like video games. But I want to
mhm.
know what other media you enjoy.
Okay. I mean, pretty basic with everybody else. TV and movies, but usually on the right occasion. I would rather allocate my time to playing a video game instead of just watching a couple hours of something. So unless I've got good company, I probably won't do that. Books are probably half of those are read. So unfortunately, a lot of my books have just been left by the wayside for the same reason. If I have the time, I'd rather be gaming right now. And what other media is there? Oh, music, I
Music,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah. Music I used to be way too into, like to the point where I knew too many bands, too many electronic artists, too many DJs, and it was just one of those things where I dabbled for a little bit in learning production for electronic music. And aside from like getting my skills to a point where if I had to, I could make my own tracks for my own video game or something, I didn't want to take it further. So basically, all media or all time that could be spent on media has been funneled into gaming, at least since the inception of this channel.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm about the same way. But do you have like other like a show, a movie, an artist you're listening to, just like something that like you're into right now? Nothing.
Uh, every now and then, if I'm like my hands are busy, I'll like put on a Maple Leafs game, so some sports, or My music is also like all over the place now. Rather than listening to artists, I think I'd rather listen to video game soundtracks. So
Ooh, yeah.
yeah.
I got my my Spotify Wrapped yesterday, which
Oh.
because I work the job that I work, I listen to music and podcasts all day, basically because I'm out 10 hours a day. So I use a lot of Spotify, and I got my rap
Hmm.
yesterday, and my number five artist was like Sega Sound Team because I always put on
Oh yeah,
Sega game soundtracks. So it's like
that's sick.
my artists were hilarious because it was
Good,
like
good.
actually because like I don't think of that as an artist. So it was like actual like music artists, and it was like I don't know the guys that made Nights or something.
Whoever's like working at Spotify and sees that up there is just gonna be like, "What the heck?"
He did
Actually,
it.
I forgot podcasts because my work also has me just working whatever 10 or 12 hours a day, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of podcasts on in the background as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't listen to them as podcasts. That's the thing. I usually put on YouTube videos, just long YouTube videos, and I'll just
Oh,
leave my phone aside. Yeah. So there you go.
that works too. I mean, that's kind of a podcast in a way, I
Yeah.
guess. All right. So the last two questions I asked everybody, and you've listened to the episodes, you probably know what's coming. The next one is, if you had infinite money, infinite resources, what is your dream project? Infinite time, obviously.
Oh. Yeah. I think it would be for now, I'll just keep it gaming related. Otherwise, it would take me too long to think of another answer. It'd be pretty interesting to turn this channel or something new into a little bit of like a video game media empire, and not in the IGN style. I think I would like to have news, or at least like journalism, which would be a new standard for gaming, the industry. This industry is sorely lacking in good journalism. So ideally, if I have the money, I'm just hiring a bunch of people. I hire the research teams, I hire the writers. I could do some presentations. I'll hire a few more presenters as well. We could have some channels that are underneath us. We could be the umbrella corporation. There could be some subsidiary channels, and just basically not to take over or anything, and to still keep everything a little more niche, a little more researched, a little more mature, just in the sense that it's not a bunch of drivel that you see a lot online. So just a little more smart. I don't want to sound pseudo intellectual, but you know what I mean, right? Just content that people can learn from when they get into it. I think it'd be fun to head up something like that. I would definitely, yeah. I have a lot of directions I would take something like that. If I had the money available right away, I would just start with talent scouting and get to work hiring a bunch of people.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a good goal if you have infinite money and
Yeah, you gave me
resources.
the conditions and the
Yeah,
parameters, and I
yeah.
went with them. So
So,
I would be involved. I would still be the face of it, but definitely like just speed it up. Get a bunch of
would
hands
it
on
be
deck.
you? Wait, are you the face or is your dog the face? That's the.
I think at this point it would be time to grow up a little bit. I'd be the face.
uh,
You know what? And I've wondered that too. Like, suppose in some dream world scenario, my channel gets big. I had to come to terms with the fact that you're gonna be the dog guy. Like, you're gonna be the Legend of Leo if you have 50,000 or 100,000 or more subscribers. It's like people are subscribing to the Legend of Leo, and you're the dog guy. So yeah, whatever. Well, it's better than so many other mascots or animated profile pictures. I'm fine with my dog.
yeah. So you're gonna recruit some smart content creators. So I guess the button mappers are out. Oh.
Come on. Uh,
All right. Last question, and then after that we can just shoot the shit. Last one
mhm.
is, what's a fun fact about yourself that your audience may not know?
Is there something that would be relevant? Um, well, I guess something that's impossible to know just by looking at me is I used to be a personal trainer, and I did that after graduation. And I was actually able to use some of my studies to segue nicely into personal training, and I was really good at that, and I enjoyed the job for a while. It's just not fun working for somebody else, especially in that industry. There's a lot of sleazy people, and I happen to be working for some sleazy people. And then once I was on my own, it again, just the industry is not suited for me. I probably could have like gone into physiotherapy or something and still been myself, but to sell yourself as a freelance personal trainer is all the fake stuff on Facebook, the get topless, do the stupid selfie videos, just a bunch of stuff I can't stand. So I eventually transitioned my way out of personal training, and I haven't done it, I think, in 6 years now or 5 years. And yeah, so there's something people probably didn't know about me. Doesn't really have anything helpful. Actually, it kind of does help with gaming and with this kind of stuff. I am never going to have back pain. I'm never going to have any ergonomics issues. I know how to deal with all that. I know how to prevent it all. Maybe at some point, actually, I should do a video for people. Just like, hey, are you a gamer and you've got back pain? Here's how you can avoid it.
That'd be an amazing video.
Yeah.
I would watch that. That's like super creative and like entertaining.
Yeah, why not? I did a video on how to clear your backlog, so it's not that far removed.
Cool. And I'm so with that, I am done drilling you on all the questions. And
Good stuff. Good questions.
yeah, and now we can just talk about whatever. the rest of the rest of the recording. Let me make sure the recording's still recording. Yep, it's still going. Okay, good. We're good.
Was anything from the last 7 answers something you wanted to pick into a little bit more? You kind of did on the first answer. You had a 1.5.
It's true. I did have a 1.5. Let me pull up the questions again and see if I have another another 0.5 for you here. Let me see.
Because I could easily ask you more about your improv and your acting background, because that's interesting to me.
Let's see here. Where did I put? There it is. I don't know. I don't.
Were you in any school plays? Something simple like that.
Yeah, but I also wasn't like an actor. I mainly did tech work for a lot of school plays.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the weird sound guy that was like, hey,
No, sound guys at my school were good.
mic me up, you know.
Sorry.
I
I can.
so like my background is, so you know, I came from a place of production where I was doing that stuff for my school. I was also, I'm not a religious guy, but I was doing stuff for a church, and I would basically I would run their sound and operate. I wouldn't operate them, but I would have a headset, and I would tell the camera operators in the main part of the church where to look, what to do, and then I would edit the church sermons into a package to send out to cable networks, and then they would play.
Oh, wow.
And I was like 15, 16 doing that.
Yeah.
So that's
crazy.
Yeah. So that's how I learned how to video edit. I learned a lot of stuff doing that, and that's kind of where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start making my own stuff. So me and a friend of mine started making some like funny internet videos, and then from there I met my best friend who does Damon, who does the Frickin' Frack stuff with me, and then we started like we were still in high school. It was like senior year. He wanted to go into that field and he went into acting. So we were like, you know what? Let's just do this. So we started doing it. We making these dumb little movies and stuff, and you know, and it didn't go anywhere. It's not like we're like making movies full time now.
Okay.
But like he is a full time actor. Like that's what he does. He acts for like indie projects. He acts for like a dinner theater thing.
Sick.
Yeah, he's also a karate instructor, so that's pretty cool. You know, and then obviously my love of like video production led me to this stuff. But yeah, that's basically my background. I never went to school for it, and anything like that. I just kind of picked it all up.
That's okay. No, well, hey, we have the play background in common, at least. That's kind of one of the reasons why I was asking if people want another fun fact about me. Is I did one of the years of high school plays, and I completely botched the audition. I thought it would be really funny to do William Hung from American Idol. Like, okay, everybody else got the memo that this is the play and these are the songs. So if you want a specific part, you should go in with the song that that character would sing. And I was too bashful and too embarrassed and too shy, so I didn't want to tell my family what was going on, even though my brother and sister before me had also been in the school play. I thought I could just wing it all, and I'm going to be the different one, and I'm just going to go my own way, and nobody has to know. So I didn't know that I should have auditioned for a character with his song. And so I did William Hung when he does the she bang, she bang. And the three stone faces in front of me that were just
That's
like
hilarious.
I'm wasting their time. And I'm like, okay, that's just a joke. And then I did a song that was unrelated to the play. And then when they posted on the bulletin a week later who was getting what roles, did you make it? Did you not? I actually got like a leading role, but
Wow.
my character had no singing lines. So, thankfully, I don't know, maybe because my siblings were in the play before me, there's a little bit of favoritism. But yeah, I was just an actor.
It was like we was like, okay, well, we have to put the shebang kid in the play, but we can't give him a singing.
Oh
Can't give him a song.
God. It was so embarrassing, but the way it worked out was so good. And I met a lot of good people doing that. So thankfully it all worked out in the end.
Dude, that is exactly how my brain works, though. Like, I was thinking the whole time you were saying that. Like, that's what I would have done, and like that's what I did. We had
Yeah.
to, me and my friend during school before I met Damon, we were doing this project for like a networking class, and you basically had to like
Hmm.
make a video explaining like the benefits of the internet. That was basically the video.
Oh,
And I
okay.
took any chance, like in school when I had like a video project, I took any chance to make the stupidest shit possible. So
Yeah.
instead we made a movie trailer parodying the day the earth stood still. It was the day the internet stood still, and it was like a
Okay.
post-apocalyptic thing where like the internet wasn't working
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure we like entered it in for like some contest, and I'm pretty sure we got disqualified. But
Oh,
I was like, that's exactly what I would have done. Something like
man,
that.
you think you have a good idea. You know everyone else is just going to follow the rules to a T, and you're like, well, I'll just try something a little bit different, and hopefully it works. And you put your heart and soul into it. You're trying pretty hard at least, and it usually backfires. But what can you do? I like your idea. That's a good one.
We had to do one time for an English class that was like we had to perform a scene from Othello. And you know how
Mm,
like most of those video projects, it's like three kids in a garage, and it's like they're like reading the
yes.
lines all awkwardly. We
Maybe you go to a park.
yeah. We wanted to avoid that as much as possible. So what we did was we got all the kids in our group. It was me, Damon, and some other kids that didn't know any of this shit. We all got
Hmm.
around and we gathered, and like we all, I gave them lines. I was like, here's your lines. I'm gonna record your audio. So I recorded them saying these lines in like really dumb voices. And then what I
Right.
did is, instead of even having anybody on screen, I put up pictures of celebrities to represent the characters. And
Oh, no.
my English teacher lost it. We got like an A+ on that because it was the funniest
Oh,
goddamn. Because like everybody else's is like they're like in a
oh,
garage.
good.
They're like in a garage, and
Bad
like
acting,
yeah, it's like all
bad
muffled.
theatrics.
You can't hear it, and it's like Othello. Blah 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 blah. You know, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like no, we did like the complete opposite, and it was the dumbest idea, and it got us an A+.
Good job.
I was like, yes.
Oh my God. It just reminded me of like one of those really old internet things. Do you know the old GIF or GIF of like Britney Spears placing a phone call? There's no audio. It's just like 15 minutes of Britney Spears placing a phone call, like complaining about Kevin or someone, and there's this dialogue on that the text that keeps appearing on screen. I thought of like something like that with your video project, where it's just, oh, that's good though, man. I don't know where I'm
That's
going
kind
with
of what
my
it was.
little.
We put like, I forgot. I wish I had the video. This was like forever ago, but I know I used like Christopher Walken, B.
Oh,
Arthur. I think I used a picture of B. Arthur in there because that was funny. I forget who else, but it was, yeah, it was
yeah,
very
a
dumb.
good eclectic mix.
It was
Nice.
like I recorded their audio. I went home and I got the thing out in like an hour, and I was like done.
Yeah. You know, I respect people who also like still bring that to their YouTube channels. I mean, I'm on my better behavior with my channel 100%. Like people don't watch my videos and go, "Oh, that was out of line," or "Oh, like he's nuts," or anything like that. With my friends, I've got a certain type of lunacy that the internet will never see, hopefully. With my family, I've got a different type of lunacy that I don't want to put on camera. But sometimes I think about it, just like, what if I did make, to most people, it would be an unhinged video. But it's like, I don't know, that's me. Like I talk to myself, I sing to myself, I talk to my dog, I stomp around, I do voices, I do weird
Oh yeah.
caricatures, and it's just like,
It's like
maybe one day,
most
maybe April Fools.
most of my humor is just to entertain myself. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like I'm my
And if you
audience.
find it funny, then you just keep on going with it.
Uh,
Uh,
I
so
fi-
I do like when other people are a little more loose and relaxed with what they do on camera, because I don't have it in me, at least not yet.
there was a time. Speaking of like inspirations and stuff, and like other content creators doing comedy stuff, there was a time
Hmm.
where for like I tried to reboot TurboZone for a little bit, and I actually like took down all of my old videos, started like a whole new thing, new intro, which is the current
Oh,
intro,
geez.
and like I had like a setup where I was like on like a couch, and I would talk to the camera
Hmm.
and have like jokes and stuff, and nobody ever caught on to it, but I only did that because I got super into Scott the Woz, and I was like, that's funny.
Oh.
I was like, that's funny shit.
Oh, yeah, I know the couch scenes you're talking about
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. So then I quickly realized I was like, this is way more work than I want to do. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
scrap it, go back.
Oh,
so,
man.
so then
Realizing how much goes into these videos? Holy.
yeah. So then I relisted all my videos, and I just kept going like nothing happened.
It's like there might be one point in your channel's history where there's a weird blip and
Yeah.
everything just gets thrown
It's like
upside down.
it's like
But
2018 where it's like things are different for a little bit, then they're back to normal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's fun. I didn't know you were a fan too. Okay, interesting.
I love Scott the Woz. I think he's like
Yeah,
one of the most entertaining like big YouTubers. You know.
and informative.
Yeah,
Like
and
every
informative.
time I watch one of his videos, I'm actually learning things, which I always put that at the forefront. And then honestly, like his humor with his friends falls flat for me. Like how many times am I gonna laugh at the same Gex joke? But whatever. But his videos I still think are really good. I like his channel.
I just like the feel of it is like
Yes.
it feels like their videos meant for like 300 viewers, not 3,000.
Yeah.
You know, or 3 million. You know, it's meant for
Yeah.
it feels like it's meant for a much smaller audience, which is why it's kind of fun. You know, and like
Did you watch the earliest videos on his channel? Like he did one for like a university project where it's like I don't know, like Tinder and university or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
I have seen
Yeah,
that.
the feeling's the exact same as what he currently does. It's just crazy how the production has ramped up, but he's had that same sense of humor and that same like thought process for his videos since the very beginning. So
I
I appreciated that too.
Nobody around me cares about his videos, and like I tried to show my
Uh,
friend like the what was it, the internet and you, like the really early one he did and stuff, that like that video is hilarious to me. I tried to show some friends
yeah.
and they were like, yeah, okay. Or like I tried to show him
Yeah.
uh Borderline Forever, because that's fun, that's a funny one for me, and they're like, yeah, whatever. But you know, it's just like, I'm like, someone care, damn it.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's so weird also when like a channel could have so many millions I think he's in the millions and nobody even knows. Nobody even cares.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's not like you're trying to share a tiny little channel. You're not trying to share your own video. Come on.
I was doing what you were talking about earlier with like putting on YouTube videos as a podcast yesterday, because I was at
Yeah.
work, but I put on the where he on his stash channels where he and his friends were playing Mario 3D World, and I put that on
Oh,
as a podcast, and like I don't know,
yeah.
it's just like even then, like him talking to his friends playing a dumb Mario game, it's just like I don't know. I feel like I'm just
Fill the
hanging out with
spot.
the boys, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I do like that, and I wonder not just to like try to get a big side series or a big spin-off of videos on my channel. But, like even my brother has tried to push me towards streaming. Like I don't want to stream. Like when I did this, I said I wasn't going to be doing gameplay anymore because I used to be addicted to Dota. And if I was going to stream anything, then it was going to be streaming Dota 10 years ago. But he's like, do it. I'm like, I don't know. So I wonder what kind of feeling people would have if they watch my. Well, I mean, he's with his friends, right? I haven't watched his Stash side channel, but you said he's with his friends.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, different feeling then. But I wonder. I
Yeah,
don't know.
sure.
We'll see what happens in 2024 because it'd be interesting to try new things with the comedy, or not comedy, the content.
I do like the odd Twitch stream here or there, but I would never like consider myself a streamer, because like that's
Yeah,
hard, man. It's hard to like entertain
yeah,
for like that, just like live by yourself, you know. It's just like
And also, you might be like, well, no, like I want to finish Gears of War. I'm not just gonna like start a new game for you guys. Sorry, but you're gonna watch me playing my game. I'm not just gonna start this for you or play a new game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or you
God.
know, or you get like the random person in like the comments that's like, "Hey, what are you playing? Like, have you played Mario?
It says right there.
Yeah,
It
Mario
says it
Wonder
right
yet?
there.
Or, this game
Uh,
this game sucks. Yeah, this game's terrible." And I'm like, then leave.
yeah, I know. It's like you're my one viewer right now. Why are you bothering me?
This game's
So,
awful.
you'd have more people watching if you played something else instead. It's like, okay.
Thanks. Is that what you do?
Uh,
Is that what you do? You hop around stream to stream, giving advice? Thanks.
yeah. Oh, I know. The people who know how to make everything better for you. They've got all the answers, all the solutions. Yeah. They they exist in my personal life. They exist in my business life. It's what I keep just kind of going back to the channel since like we're still in the theme of the interview.
Mhm.
So I hope you don't mind that.
That's fine.
But one good thing about my videos, there really hasn't been backseating. And I've heard other people complain about this. And another reason why I don't necessarily want to see the people who I follow on YouTube, what they do on Twitter. A couple of times I've gone on Twitter and I really just use it to like dump my Switch clips since they come in 30-second recordings and I probably won't have a use for them in the videos. Usually they're glitches or I just want to talk about a new game really quickly. So I use Twitter for that, or X. And I've seen some of the people whose YouTube channels I follow, and there is so much behind the scenes complaining about backseating and bad comments on their channels. I'm like, whoa. First of all, that channel or that comment, I'm sure you get like 100 of those a week. And why do you need to air it out here? Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, oh, don't meet your heroes.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh,
I
yeah.
I just in general I despise social media. I think I used Twitter for like a month in like 2017 and I was like, "All right, I'm out." But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a fan of that stuff anyway, but like I've heard tale of the Twitter.
Uh, Just, and this is kind of like something else that I don't do is I don't necessarily let all of my opinions out in the open because a lot of them would be negative. So, yeah, but a lot of it just has to do with critiquing how other people behave. And it's like you have a great following. You have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people who like your channel, who subscribe to you. The vast majority of comments that I see are positive. You spend more time on your Twitter complaining about the bad comments than focusing on the good ones. It's stuff like that that just irks me.
Oh yeah, and
Anyway.
speaking of negative comments anyway, I try not to take any of that stuff personally because like, okay, even if I'm talking about something that I am like genuinely interested in or like I have an opinion on, I'm still
Yeah.
playing like a caricature of myself, right? Like I'm
Right.
still playing a character. I have to entertain. I'm playing a
Yeah.
character.
It's
So
not Alex. It's Alex from TurboZone.
yeah, exactly.
Talking
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
it's me. It's like the hyper realized version of me on
I know
camera.
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So whenever somebody is like, "Oh well, you said the Japanese name wrong," or "Oh well, you should," or "That was stupid. Why did you make that joke?" Or I'm just like, "Whatever,
Yeah.
man." It's like I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm just trying to entertain.
Oh, that's another really funny one. And actually, I don't know where I stand on this. Is people comment about pronunciation because maybe they are correct, and it's just like, well, I guess it's nice to have the correct pronunciation now. But I've had that in some of my videos. The way I say Gerudo, well, there you go. I say Gerudo from The Legend of Zelda. I don't say Gerudo. And in one of my videos, I think actually in the most popular video I did, where it was like tips for specific enemies in Tears of the Kingdom, it's like that is the negative comment. It's did he just say Gerudo? It's Gerudo. And it's like,
Dude, I would double
yeah,
down.
yeah. Well, here's how I get back to them. I'm not going to turn it into a flame war or anything, but I start thinking of other G words that have the soft pronunciation. So it's like,
Like Goron,
Gerudo,
Joron,
gelatin,
Joron.
yeah, Geronimo or something. Well, I give them like real words, and it's like, what are you gonna do?
Oh,
Here are the
okay. I get you.
examples.
I get you.
Like, yeah, but yeah, with I hear what you're saying as well, where sometimes it's just like, I gave you this full video. If that's your takeaway, okay, great.
What's the
Not sure.
okay? And maybe that's your answer, but like, what's the funniest negative comment you've ever had?
Oh, this one I will never forget. Okay, well, as soon as I say I'll never forget it, I forget the exact phrasing of the comment, but oh, I'm so tempted to dig it up right now, just so I get it right. It was on my ranking the Final Fantasy series, and I didn't know that so many people would be offended that I skipped Final Fantasy 14. Now, I skipped 14 to just move along in the video. That's basically what I said. 11 and 14 are the online games. I'm not going to focus on them since I see them as outliers in the series. So here we go with the rest of the games. In reality, I had actually played the demo for about a week or at least a few days. And I got my character to like level 20 something or 30 something, but it wasn't enough to worth mentioning, right? Anyways, so everybody, it's like the floodgates were open, and everybody who had a complaint to make was complaining about me not liking Final Fantasy 14. And some of them, it's just like you could tell it really bothered them. Clearly, this is an ongoing issue with people who do the Final Fantasy rankings. Some of them were like, "Here we go again, another video where he skips 14." Like, oh shoot, this is an endemic or something. Sorry to be one of the bad guys. But the one comment that really got me, got into a little bit of a flame war in my comment section. He had a comment like that. Oh, it's another person who doesn't talk about 11 and 14. And I say, well, look, blah, 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 blah. I played a little bit, not enough to give a proper critique of the game. So I decided I would just leave it out. And it's not a game that I want to return to for X, Y, and Z. And he goes, you know what? It's actually better that you're not going to play the game and not going to talk about it because I really don't like it's something that we don't need your opinion on it. Like it's something like that. Like his phrasing and the way he described it. I'm actually pulling up my YouTube tabs right now.
Like you're doing the world
Like
a service.
I would have such a subhuman response if I were to actually play the game, and he would just be disgusted by it. So it's better if you don't play it.
At that point,
Oh.
I would have just said, "You're welcome."
Oh no, where'd you? Oh, I feel like some of these people have actually changed their names on here. I'm scrolling. Possible he also deleted it because I saw some people dogpiling on him. Okay, here we go. Oh, and he's doing like the faux. Let me pull the video back so I can see you. He did the faux like green texting thing in his comments too. He does like to type and then and leaves his comment. So ranking the mainline games includes spin-offs but not the MMOs, especially 14, the best game in the entire franchise. Interesting choice. The rationale of not everyone can have access to them also makes absolutely no sense. Since you can play 15 on PC or PS4, you will have no issues accessing 11. He mentioned 3 different games in his comment. ... And I say, look, like I said, blah, blah, blah. They're not really the things. I did play 14, but... And here we go. It's the golden comment. I suppose it's better you didn't include them in the ranking, as you don't seem qualified to evaluate them.
Oh,
So there you go.
look,
You guys, if you're big fans of 14, you don't watch my channel. I'm not qualified to talk about these games.
I don't like the generalized people, but that's a neckbeard. That's
Yeah, and you know what? But at that point, this is probably where... No, this is definitely where I've softened up over the years, because if this is Dota, I'm telling the guy like every terrible thing in the world, and I'm not holding anything back, and it makes me feel better for the game. But years later, here on YouTube, you just let it go. There are so many more people who you're making their day a little bit better. You're helping them enjoy the game. And honestly, I don't know what kind of sensitive situations some of these people who lash out are in. And I don't want to be the person. And like, I'm not afraid of like me saying the thing that's going to trigger them to like hurt themselves. I don't mean that. But I feel like a lot of the disgruntled people online already have it bad enough where I'll try extending the olive branch with my first comment. And if they still will have none of it, I just leave it. It's like, I don't need to dogpile on them. I'm sure they have it bad enough. My life is good enough where I don't need to get into those kind of petty squabbles. So
true.
that's kind of been my philosophy with
if
comments
if
and negative people.
Final Fantasy 14 has them this twisted up, it's not Final Fantasy 14. It's something else.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, there's a bit of a hidden point there. Where, yeah, a lot of these people who are probably so immersed in Final Fantasy 14, I'm sure they do have enough problems in their real life. So I'll let them go.
And again, I don't expect you to know any of this, but I before I started Turbo Zone, over on the Frickin' Freck Films channel, I used to, along with doing the regular content, like the short films and stuff, I used to do gaming content there. And then at one point, I decided to end my gaming content there and start Turbo Zone. Back when I did gaming content on that channel, I did reviews. It was my earliest reviews. I'm talking like I had like a Dazzle capture card plugged into like a shitty laptop, and like I was just recording the audio with like a camera. It was like I was a teenager.
Yeah,
I had what
bare
I had.
bones, early YouTube.
So I did a review, and like for listeners, you can find all of these. Well, not all of them yet, but most of these reviews I've reposted on this channel under the my shitty old reviews compilations. Okay. Those are my reviews from that channel. But I had a review of the game Shinobi for PlayStation 2, and I liked this game, and I gave it a good review, and I was like, this is a good game. I had fun. One of my comments was just, it looks like you played with your feet. That comment has stuck with me, and this was this was years ago. This comment has stuck with me for so long. I love that comment. I was like, I wasn't like, because like I would understand if like I said the game sucked, it's too hard, and like oh, you played with your feet, you just suck at it. I liked the game. I thought it was good.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like there is a type of person out there who they like what you did enough where they want to say something to just kind of leave a comment, but they can't lie, or they have to be honest or something. So it's just like, I'm gonna say the one thing that I just can't lie about. You made a comment about your gameplay. I don't know. But at least he left a comment, right?
That was a good one.
That's so good. Yeah, those are funny. I don't get enough of that. People are too nice in my comment section. You know what, guys? Open invitation. Go raid my comments and give me the weird, nastiest but creative insults you can.
Give a mean comment. Go give him a mean comment.
Just be smart. Be creative.
Yeah.
It'd be appreciated. Like, you know.
Yeah, we don't need another Final Fantasy 14 comment,
Unless I'm not qualified to talk about more, then let me know.
I haven't watched that video. You've talked about it on the Button Mappers too. I think on the Game Talk you were on. I haven't watched it. I need to watch that video of yours, but
no spoilers. I don't spoil things in any of my videos unless I say I will.
But I just want to know for my own personal.
What's number one?
No. I want to know where you ranked 12. Where's 12?
Top 5.
Top 5. Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
That's not bad. I'll take it.
It is 5 or 6, I think.
Okay.
So,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm one of the
12 is good.
I'm one of the 12 weirdos. I'm like, that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And like everybody's like, ew, get out of here, subhuman. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I don't know why people say it's like, oh, you better like MMOs. Yeah, I get the flavor is like MMO inspired. The way you see like the drops appearing on the side of your screen, and they have a ticker where they kind of fade out and you get a new one, But the combat is like more Final Fantasy than, it's Final Fantasy. It's just you're running around a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, like, and the fact that it's not turn-based, it is kind of turn-based, but like it's not really.
It is kind of turn-based. Yeah, that's what like I want to emphasize. Yeah.
But like, it honestly almost like it more felt like almost like a BioWare game to me. Like those types of RPGs, like a Dragon Age.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I like it. And like, I also like I really love the Gambit system. Like, I like being able to be like, okay, whenever I'm like almost dead, you use this, and you focus on that thing, and then whatever, and like that's the fun of the game for me. Is like.
Yeah. Well, and people act like it's such a without playing the game. They act like, oh my god, if I have to engage with the Gambit system, it's going to be all this learning all this time. It's like, no, come on. What do you think they're going to do? Just set it on default, and it'll basically just be like auto cure, auto Asuna, auto whatever,
But you can't.
No, you're right.
you can get creative with it, and I understand like
Yeah.
the one complaint that I would agree with was like from the PS2 version was like the license system, but that's been fixed with like the like the newer version.
Okay.
Whatever. So it's like, well, that's fixed. So yeah, nothing to complain about.
No
it.
excuses.
Yeah.
And I have heard, like, on some of those bigger channels where they do buy every game or they do review every game. Like, I think Happy Console Gamer was the one who said he went back to Final Fantasy 12 with Zodiac Age and he loved it. Like, all of a sudden, everything that I thought I wasn't going to like about the game, I actually really enjoyed it. Now, I played the original on PS2 and I really liked the game there. So if I were to enjoy Zodiac Age even more, and someday when I replay it, it's going to be a really good time.
Dude, same. That was like the only Final Fantasy game I actually really got into back in the day was that game.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm so attached to it. But like, I love the world and everything playing on PS2.
Yes.
Like, it felt like that game on PS2 felt like it was like a PS3 game almost. Like it felt bigger.
Yeah.
than like a PS2
Yeah.
game.
Oh, you're okay. Not to like endorse myself or promote myself too much, but you really should watch my video then, because in the award section, I talk about the best world, and of course I give it to Ivalice. And then when I talk about Final Fantasy 12 specifically, I mention how the feeling of the game is like that of a living world. Now, obviously, it's not going to be like your most sophisticated game, but you know what I mean, where it's just like everyone is kind of going somewhere. It's not just like NPCs are just standing around. You have got the bazaar, you've got the markets that are full of people, you've got the restaurant where it's like they actually put enough NPCs in there to fill it half capacity. So yeah, the world and just the way the game feels when you're in Rabanastre, so good, so good. Love that game.
I always tell people like they're like, oh well, I don't like all the politics and stuff. I'm like, well, do you like Star Wars? It's basically
like,
Star Wars. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, and well, like the politics, it's like
not really.
Okay, it's a JRPG story, It's they're JRPG stories, like they're only ever going to be between here and here. Here are the best stories in all of media and literature, and here's the worst stories on TV. Like, it's not like, I don't know. People get so crazy about story. Oh, Alex, do you remember this actually? At the end of my video response for violence, this is so funny, we can address this. For the violence in video games and where you draw the line. I said, like, the point that I wanted to make was I play video games for the gameplay. And if I want to experience a good story, it's going to be through literature or through whatever. I can't remember my phrasing, but I remember watching the episode and you reacted to my video response like, did he say something like, video games don't have stories?
Yeah.
It's something like that. And I was like, no, like that's not what I really mean, but it was only a 3-minute video. Like, so yeah, just my overall opinion of stories in video games is that they're just meh. And even the best stories that people have talked about have always just been, they're good enough to take me from point A to point B and be engaged. But I'm not going to tell my friends and family about what a good story it was in that game. The only one I've done that with, kind of, is The Witcher 3. It's like, it's the best video game story because I played 1, 2, and 3. There's also that caveat. But yeah, I'm always willing to like get recommendations for games with good stories. And I haven't played a few of them. So now you know where I'm coming from.
I think my favorite video game stories are ones that actually use the medium to tell the story in certain ways, and is it just like, oh yeah, check out the cutscene, whatever, Nathan Drake crashed a bus or something, I don't know, it's like, it's like the games that actually get creative with it, where I'm like, oh, it's telling me the story through the gameplay, or like it's using the gameplay in some way to progress a narrative, like that's what's interesting to me.
What are a few examples where like they don't have to be the top 3, but like just like, oh yeah, that was good. I'm
gonna sound like a broken record for anybody that knows me, but one of my favorite games of all time and one of my favorite stories of all time, and maybe you've played it, maybe you haven't. It's Nier.
I haven't, but I know what you're gonna say.
It's Nier.
Okay.
That uses Nier, and also Nier Automata is pretty good too. Or Automata. I say automata because like
me too.
Like automatons. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
automata,
robots.
yeah.
But I don't know who whatever. But both of those Automata. Both of those use. I think those are brilliant games that use like gameplay to actually progress a narrative and like make you think instead of just being like,
Okay.
hey, look, you killed a guy. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could think of some other ones, but I'm just blanking right now. But that's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Like I'm thinking some of the stories, or maybe years later when people talk about games from the past, they go, did you know like Majora's Mask had this character? And like if you go here, you see the guy and he's hiding because the moon's gonna fall. It's like those are all really cool elements. I like that they add to the game in some way, but and I don't want like this isn't how I view every story. I don't like distill every story into just one sentence summary. It's not like I play Majora's Mask and just think, well, you have to stop this little imp because if you don't, then the moon is going to crash into town in 3 days. Like, ultimately, that is what it is. So I think for me, the storytelling and some of the events in the storytelling are more important. And so, like, I've made the complaint about Dark Souls where people say it's such a fleshed out world, there's so much lore. It's like the storytelling is garbage. In Dark Souls, if you want to get more of what's going on, you have to read item descriptions. And people could argue that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, you're just being a baby because you need it spoon fed to you. No, no, no. Objectively, that is poor storytelling. So when I played Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, obviously there's like spending so many hours with Geralt of Rivia and these other characters. That is going to do something. But there's good storytelling, like you described. When you do a quest in the game, it's impactful. It relates to the main story. They relate to it later in the game. You see the character again later on. Yeah. So
I think even like
I will play. I will play your Nier recommendation.
you don't have to. I think even like environments can for me too. Like Super Metroid, that's a game that I think tells a story through its environments, and intentionally or unintentionally. You know.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, yeah, Metroid Prime. I love reading the lore book there. That's one again where I'd make the critique like it's a really cool world, but I would keep it separate from story. Because the story is that Samus goes to the planet and she discovers this and that, yada yada. But
but to be
but
honest,
it's a cool world.
I don't necessarily need an amazing story to enjoy a game anyway. Like, it's like if it's there, I'm like that's great. But like also if it's not there, I'm like as long as I'm having fun, I don't care.
Yeah.
And this is oh my gosh, this is my favorite thing. I would never consider myself like a Kingdom Hearts guy, but I've beaten every one of those goddamn games. And
oh my god!
and
you had the itch. You had the Kingdom Hearts itch.
When I talk to other people, they're like, "Oh my god, you love Kingdom Hearts 2?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun." And they're like, "Yeah, don't you love the story whenever Aqua was locked away in Sora's heart, then they had to get him, and then there was Naminé and this and that." And I'm like, "No, that was garbage. All of that sucked. All of that was trash."
I like the gameplay.
Yeah, I like whacking things with a key. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Like I like being
funny.
like, "Hey, look, there's Hercules and stuff." You know, like that's what I want to do. Like I don't care about
Yeah.
anime plot.
That's funny, man. Do you follow PC games at all? Indie games at all? Like if I told you Lisa, it's got a longer title, but Lisa the something. Have you heard of that game?
I think I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
I haven't played it yet either, but that is one where it's been recommended to me for the story, and I'm actually gonna listen to that person giving the recommendation. And like, it seems like it's a disgruntled male protagonist, middle age or whatever. There's probably themes of like alcoholism and this and that, and so it has to do with Lisa, whoever that character is. So should be good. I'm just putting it out there in case people are listening and they're just like, I haven't played a game with a good story yet either. I don't know. Try Lisa. Maybe you get to it before I do.
Might I recommend Kingdom Hearts 3? I'm just kidding.
Nice.
No.
Nice.
I think it's the worst one to me is Dream Drop Distance on 3DS, because that one has like some of the most convoluted bullshit. Like it's like the evil organization.
Oh, that's the title of the 3DS Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, Dream Drop Distance because
okay.
3D,
okay.
get it? Yeah, well, and
surprised it's not like 3.D or whatever.
So the evil organization, which is by this point in the game's lore, is made up of copies of the same dude, but from different time periods, which makes no sense. Anyway, they're like able to track Sora because they put an X on his clothing. And I'm like, people think this is good.
Nice.
People are cool with this. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. I like
Is it
that.
at least a magic X?
No, I don't know. I don't.
No.
Who,
It's just like they're just always watching with the binoculars, looking for the X in the crowd. Ah, there he is.
There he is. What is Sora doing?
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
oh my god.
It's
And it's such a crutch too to have like multiverse clones or timeline clones or however you want to view
Yeah.
it. Like, I don't dislike the idea either because it could always be done well, but it's definitely been rammed down our throats a few too many times now.
I'll shit on those games that like the storytelling, but I'll be honest. If I played like Kingdom Hearts 4, because it's gonna happen. When I
Yeah.
played Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
4, if the story wasn't garbage, I'd be like, what am I? Is this even the same game anymore?
Yeah. Maybe it will be. I mean, that trailer that came out where he was like fighting in a really realistic version of Tokyo or something.
Yeah.
That was for 4, right?
Yeah, that was like
Oh.
that was like at the post game thing at the end of 3, where they were like, look at that.
I haven't played a lot of modern games. Like I haven't played any PlayStation games. So I haven't had a lot of those really detailed worlds. But I feel like that is such an easy piece to give the writers to work with. It's like, look, we're going to have these environments, okay? The player is going to be immersed. Just don't make the story suck because they will feel like they're there. Just make it decent. And I feel like people have that to kind of boost their stories because you should feel like, yeah, I'm actually in Tokyo. I feel right there in the action. I don't know.
I used to be super into PlayStation, but it feels like recently
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation games have just been one game and different flavors. It's been like
Yeah.
over the shoulder adventure game, and sometimes you'll have a person with you, and like that's the game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
You have quest markers
yeah, big map, quest markers.
and you can
It's like even
combo your attacks.
like everyone's like Spider-Man 2 Game of the Year, and I'm like, it looks like the same game, but with you have another guy. You have two guys this time. That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta be careful not to be the Nintendo version of that kind of fan, where it's like, "Tears the Kingdom Game of the Year," because isn't it just like Breath of the Wild 2? No, yes, but maybe Spider-Man 2 is different. I'm with you though, man.
I can't say anything. Of course, you've been invited to the Game of the Year, right? I don't forget who was. Did somebody reach out to you about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Spencer.
Okay, good. So don't say what yours is, but I can't say anything about that either because my Game of the Year last year was fucking Sonic Frontiers. So just...
Okay.
which is just Breath of the Wild, but you run fast.
Hey man, it's a good game.
Yeah, it's fun. Whatever. I got 100% trophies in that game.
Is that something you don't usually do?
No,
100%.
I usually don't care about
Nice.
trophies, but I had
Yeah.
I had so much fun playing that stupid game, and I got to a point where I had 99%, and I had a trophy that wouldn't pop. It was like,
Oh.
yeah, and I know
come on.
I had done it because it was like do the Phantom Rush combo like 50 times or whatever. And I was like, there's no, like, I've been playing this for like 30 hours. There's no way I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And then I sat down one day and I started a new file. And then I got to the point where I could do the Phantom
Just to
Rush
get
combo. And then I did it 50 times. I counted. I did it 50 times. Didn't pop. And I was like, all right, there's some funny business going on here. And then
It's a glitch.
Yeah. And then recently they've been doing those updates. They did that last update that like added like new story and characters and stuff.
Right.
And then I guess they fixed it because it popped as soon as I started playing. I was like, thanks, Sega.
Dude,
Thanks for
that kind of thing would give me a conniption because I mark when a game is finally 100% completed or 100% achievements. And I've had that happen with a game on Steam. It's just a stupid game called like Pull Ball. And it's a puzzle game where basically you're playing in the bottom of a funnel, like kind of like the plunger from Pinball. So that's kind of right there. That's the main part of the game. So there's these two slopes, and your ball goes down, and you have a plunger there. and you're meant to like kind of aim it and go to the side and adjust your power, and you're meant to hit these different objects on the map. And I got 100%. I beat every single level, and for whatever reason, Steam does not recognize it in my like completed games list, and so I'll never forget it. I'm scarred.
Damn you, Gabe Newell.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. I'm sitting there playing with a stupid pinball plunger for a few hours. Give it to me. Oh, what a game.
Well, we went pretty long. This is longer than most of my interviews, but that's cool, man. We could just,
Yeah.
we just
It was
talk-
good, man.
talking away.
I enjoyed it. And
Hour
thank you.
hour 24 minutes. I think we'll call it here.
Yeah, sounds
So,
good.
yeah, man. Thanks for letting me interview you and talking to me about stuff, and you know, it's been fun.
Alex, I like your shows. Your interviews are really great. I've enjoyed listening to them. Hopefully, everybody listening or watching to this has enjoyed it as well. It was fun being on here.
Everybody's probably like, when they see this interview go up, it'll be a sigh of relief because I'm not talking about Atari anymore.
Uh,
Woo, no
that's
Pong review
okay.
today.
Hey, man, that's one I would tune into for sure.
The Pong narrative analysis, 2 hour narrative
Yo,
analysis.
throw a few buzzwords in there. Masterclass, retrospective. Yeah, there you go.
Secret meaning. What's the true meaning behind Pong?
Oh, and you have to begin your video title with "We have to talk about."
We have to talk about Pong.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything you want to say before I close out? Last words?
You know what? Everybody, the button mappers have been so gracious to me, inviting me on their show. Check out their podcast. And Alex, thanks again, man.
Yeah, I just waved at you, but I forgot my camera's off. So sorry, man.
That's okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.